8 terrifying cryptid encounters that defy explanation by real dread. Number 1. Deep water.
I wasn't going to share this, but something happened on the lake last night, and it's been bothering me ever since. It was the 4th of July. We anchored our boat in the middle of the lake to watch fireworks. It was just me and a few friends. The skies were clear. The water was calm. Everything felt perfect at first. But right before each firework exploded, the water around us would ripple, not from the sound, more like something underneath was reacting. Then came the bubbles. Huge, slow clusters rising straight up. They were too big to be fish, too steady to be nothing. After the finale, everything went still. No breeze, no noise, just silence. We started packing up, but when I went to pull the anchor, it wouldn't move. It felt stuck, then suddenly yanked, like something was pulling it down. Hard. I nearly fell in the water. I leaned over with my flashlight, and just under the surface was an eye. It was massive, all black. Whatever it was, it knew we were there.
Number 2. Kushtaka.
If you ever visit Alaska and you hear someone you know calling your name from the water, don't answer. I learned about the Kushtaka on my trip last month. Locals say it's a shape-shifting otter creature that mimics the voices of people you love to lure you into the freezing water. On my second night there, I stayed near a remote inlet. Around midnight, I heard my best friend's voice outside, calling for help, except he was in Seattle. I stepped outside, and by the shore, I saw a figure hunched over, dripping wet. Its movements were wrong, jerky, like it didn't understand how to move like a person. It slowly lifted its head, and it was my friend's face, smiling way too wide. The next thing I remember is waking up in my bed, soaking wet, with the window wide open, and I could still hear the water rippling.
Number 3. Daddy Dearest.
People laugh when they hear stories about the woods, but I don't. I grew up on a quiet farm in New Mexico. It was the summer of '63, and I was just a boy, maybe 10. One night, I heard our dog barking like something was wrong. Real wrong. My dad was out of town, so I grabbed the flashlight and went to check. I walked out past the barn and froze. About 50 feet away, near the tree line, stood something that looked like a man, but it wasn't. Its arms were too long, its neck was wrong, and its eyes reflected red when my light hit M. But the worst part was, it was wearing my father's flannel shirt, and it smiled at me. I didn't move, I couldn't. Then I heard it mimic my voice. "Come here, boy." But I hadn't said a word. I ran inside and locked the doors. That thing circled the house until sunrise. It never knocked, just scratched. When I told the neighbors, they didn't question it. They just nodded real slow and told me never to answer if I heard my own voice coming from the woods again. Call it what you want, but I know what I saw, and I ain't been back out there after dark since.
Number 4. Riverborn.
Have you ever seen something so out of place, your brain just refuses to believe it? This happened last fall, just outside Macon, Georgia. I was on a solo camping trip, needed time away from the city, from people. Second night in, around 3 a.m., I woke up to this low humming sound. Not music, not a machine, something alive. It vibrated through the ground. I unzipped my tent and stepped out. That's when I saw it, down by the tree line. It was crouched low, long arms digging into the soil like it was tasting it. Its skin looked damp, almost amphibious, and its eyes caught the moonlight like a cat's. I froze. I didn't even breathe. Then it turned its head, slow and smooth like it wasn't made of bone. I ran. I didn't even bother to pack. I still hear that humming sometimes, even in the city. I know that sounds crazy, but I swear whatever that thing was, it followed me back.
Number 5. The Owlman.
I've never told anyone this because I know how insane it sounds, but it happened right outside my apartment. I live on the 3rd floor of an old brick building in the city. Normally, I'm used to all the usual noises, sirens, cars, people, but this was different. One night last fall, I couldn't sleep, so I stepped out onto my fire escape to clear my head and make some tea. That's when I heard this sound, not music exactly, but like a faint tapping, like something rhythmically hitting metal, slow and deliberate. I looked across the alley to the rooftop opposite mine. That's when I saw it. It wasn't human. Its skin looked pale and rough like cracked porcelain. It moved unnaturally smooth, almost like it was sliding instead of walking. Its eyes were a dull yellow. Its face was too narrow, like a bird's skull, with remnants of feathers stuck around its neck. Then it turned toward me, and those eyes locked on mine. It didn't blink. It just stared. Without warning, it leapt off the roof. Not down, but across directly toward me. I ducked inside and slammed the window shut. When I finally dared to look again, it was gone. But the next morning, my fire escape railing was dented, like something heavy had landed on it.
Number 6. Stormbringer.
I shouldn't be telling anyone this, but I saw something in the sky that shouldn't exist. I've flown for over a decade, and I've seen a lot, but nothing like this. Last week, I was flying over a remote lake when the weather suddenly went wrong. Thick clouds rolled in, and the controls started acting weird. Then I saw it. A shadow bigger than my plane, wings stretching wider than any bird I've ever known. It moved the clouds like a storm itself was attached to it. I froze. My instruments went haywire, and I could hear this roar, or maybe it was wind. I don't know. I didn't report it. Part of me fears what people would think. I have a career to protect. But every time I close my eyes, I see those massive wings, feel the turbulence it caused, and hear that scream of the sky. I don't know what it was, but I know I'll never fly that path again.
Number 7. Hunted.
I've hunted these woods for years, but what I saw yesterday morning made me climb down and never look back. I was in my tree stand before sunrise, the woods still and quiet like always. I was sipping my coffee, scanning the tree line, when I heard it. Music. It was faint, like an old music box playing just out of sight. I thought maybe someone was camping nearby, but the sound wasn't coming from any direction. It was just there, all around me. Then I saw something move between the trees. White, too white for anything natural out here. At first I thought it was fog, but it was moving against the wind, gliding. I raised my binoculars and my hands started shaking. It looked like a figure in a hospital gown. No face, just smooth skin where it should have been. It stopped beneath my tree stand and tilted its head like it knew I was watching. The music got louder, warped and off-key. I blinked and it was gone. But the tree stand was vibrating, like someone had just climbed down from it, except I hadn't moved.
And finally, number 8. Stargazers.
I'll never forget what I saw that night, but this is my first time talking about it. Every July, my boyfriend and I drive deep into the mountains to watch the meteor shower. We park, hike to the same clearing, and lay under the stars. No ambient light, no phone service, just peace. But this year, something felt off. The woods were too still. Even the crickets stopped. Then we noticed the smell, sharp and metallic, like copper hanging in the air. That's when we saw it. Just beyond the tree line. Something tall, rail-thin, with arms that hung too low, and a head tilted too far to one side like it didn't understand what we were. We bolted. When we got back to the car, the windows were fogged and covered in giant handprints. Some were still wet. The smell of copper was even stronger inside.
Subscribe